Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by the REC Toycast. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me, as always,
Erik Icarus.
Eric.
What's up?
I want to do something a little different today.
Yeah?
I want to share a little story. I want to spread some knowledge. Okay?
Yeah.
And I kind of want to talk about speculation comic books.
Okay.
We've talked about it a little bit in the past.
Yeah.
But I've personally been buying up a bunch of comic books recently, and I kind of want to put it out to our listeners and see if they're on the same thought process, or maybe they're not. Maybe they want to get into this.
Yeah, totally.
Now, I got to say, to explain a little bit what I'm talking about, within the comic book community, really within any kind of collectibles community, you have items that get hot. You know, and they rise and fall like stocks, it feels like.
Oh, yeah.
The longer we get out from a book, the fewer and fewer there are. Action Comics #1, first appearance of Superman is, can be about a $3 million book.
For sure, yeah.
And that has the fact that it's a first appearance.
Right.
It's the first appearance of a major character, arguably the most iconic character in comic books.
Yeah.
And it's from 1938.
Right.
1939. It's old. And all of those things really do play into the value of a comic book.
Sure.
Whether or not even a first time a writer is on something, first time an artist does something, those things really affect comic book value.
Yeah.
And there are people who are, all they really get into is buying and selling comics. We call them scalpers.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
And we hate it just as much as we do it. Comic book,
Sure.
Just anybody in the collecting community. Like, there are people who they get so mad that other people are just buying up stuff to flip in a few months.
Right.
I do it myself.
Sure.
I'm sure there are people that are mad at me. I'm also a comic book hoarder. Like, if I like a character, I want every single copy of that book because I just like it.
And you don't want anybody else to have it.
And I don't want anybody else to have it. It's mine. It's my thing. And it can be fun, though.
Sure.
But what I think a lot of people do improperly when they're buying a spec book, or when they're trying to buy the new hotness, is they wait till it gets hot.
Okay.
A good example is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated film.
Yes.
Miles Morales, main character. And for the longest time, his first appearance book ranged anywhere from $10 to $20.
Oh, wow.
For the longest time.
Okay.
And then as soon as the movie got announced, it jumped up to up and over $100.
Shoot.
Ultimate Fallout #4 is his first appearance. And it's a great book. And it's sometimes these announcements cause a book to rise, and then they fall pretty quick.
Right.
And the kind of where they fall back to is where they can stay kind of in the market.
Yeah, okay.
So since that movie came out and it was such a big success,
right.
It's since the issue has fallen to about $70.
It's not bad.
But that's still $50 more than it was kind of averaging for the longest time.
Definitely.
So, and that's how you know when you've hit it, when you've done it right. Because if you do it, if your movie comes out and your movie sucks, or the character's not fun, that price can sometimes sink past what it was before the hype happened.
Sure. What, maybe like the Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad is a great example.
Oh, right, okay.
DC's Suicide Squad with Margot Robbie, their issue of the New 52 Suicide Squad #1, went up and over $100 when the announcement happened. Sure. When everybody saw that Margot Robbie was like, oh my gosh, she looks like this version of Harley Quinn.
Right.
Like, they're going to do something interesting. We started seeing all these characters, and that book went through the roof for months. The movie comes out, falls back down to earth. I literally just bought a copy the other day for $5. I like the cover. It's not my favorite version of Harley Quinn by any means, but I like the cover. Yeah. And it's something that, for that price, it's worth the possibility of it jumping to $100.
Sure, again. Especially with the Birds of
Prey. Yeah, because it's still kind of in that vein.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to tell you guys some books that I think that you should be on the lookout for. Yeah. And then maybe some of you guys comment back and let us know what are some books that you're looking at right now.
Right.
So to kind of stay in that vein of of Into the Spider-Verse, we are going to talk about Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, #4. Okay. And that is the first appearance of a character known as Silk, Cindy Moon. Okay. This was a retconned character that basically, they say Cindy was at the same science show that Peter was.
Okay.
And she was bit at the same time. And instead of her becoming this big super hero,
Right.
her parents hide her away.
Okay.
They don't want her to be some experiment.
Sure.
So like she's literally living in a bunker. Yeah. And,
wow.
Yeah, so they were kind of billing it as Peter Parker's sister. Well, it's the fact that they were bit. I can't remember if she was bit by the exact same spider or just another spider was at the show as well.
Right.
Got the juice. I want to say it was the same spider, but her powers are kind of cool where she does make her own web and she makes her costume. Like she makes like silk pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
So real quick, the spider bite differentiates your powers based on your gender or just?
I think it's just the spider in you.
Okay.
Know?
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So
okay.
I do believe, if I remember correctly, I haven't read the issue in a while. It was the same spider, but so I think that book has already got a bit of heat to it.
Sure.
Because visually a very compelling character.
Yeah.
Her costume looks really cool. She's Asian American.
Okay.
So you get that diversity feel to
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
And she kind of has her it gets a little confusing when you have a cameo that predates the first appearance.
Right.
We've talked about this with such books
That's right.
as Hulk number 180 and Hulk number 181.
Sure.
Excuse me, Incredible Hulk 180, Incredible Hulk 181. First appearance of Wolverine. Wolverine shows up on the last page of 180.
Right.
That book you can buy for $100.
Oh, for sure.
181,
Woo.
you're gonna spend a minimum of $600 and upwards, of 8 to 1,000
Easily.
because it has the full
Yes.
appearance. So same thing with Cindy Moon. Her first appearance that predates the cameo was in Amazing Spider-Man number 1, volume 3, and she's kind of on the last page.
Okay.
And because it's kind of a retelling of Peter's origin, and
Right,
you see
right.
her also get bit.
Okay.
That book you can get for $5 to $10.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Good.
Right now, issue 4, where we're seeing her, we see more of her story, kind of more of her actor first appearance. That book, at the minimum, is going for about $40 right now.
Okay.
It has been for months, if not a couple years, because
Sure.
the issue came out in 2014.
Okay.
So it's a book that people like, even though the character hasn't really done anything significant yet.
Sure.
She's a character that people like visually. Again, it does, when the character is a minority and is interesting, I do see those books raising value.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
I think today, if I can find a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 4 from 2014 for $40, I buy that book all day.
Okay.
Because I think that there's a very real possibility that I think that she'll be announced into the Spider-Verse Part 2.
Right.
Or we're going to see her in some form down the road.
Some form of other media.
That's going to be a $100 book sooner than later.
Okay.
I really do think that.
So that's one that people should be getting on.
I think so, and I think if you find it for anything under $40,
sure,
buy it.
Just get it.
Yeah, check it out because it's kind of been really parked around there.
Okay.
It was at $20 for a while, and I can give you another example of the first appearance of X-23.
Right.
In Nick's number 3. That book was $20 for a long time.
Okay.
$20 for a long time. You can't even sniff one for under $250 right
No.
now. Yeah, you get lucky sometimes on eBay. You're bidding, nobody else is paying, but you're still paying, triple digits for it.
Okay.
If you snuck one under $100, I'd call you a liar.
Wow.
Yeah, I see them all the time. I see them all the time.
Was it because of Logan?
Yes.
Okay.
Logan really pushed her out there.
Okay.
There was a point where a 9.8 graded by CGC, which is the company that will encapsulate your books, the big company that does it.
Right.
They encapsulate it, they give it a grade, and it is that forever.
Right.
And a 9.8 is pretty much the highest you can get consistently. There are 9.9s, there are perfect 10s, but they're very rare.
Sure.
And the jump from a 9.8 book to a perfect 10 book can be sometimes thousands of dollars,
Jeez.
depending on the book. Okay? The rarity, the age, and stuff like that. So, for Nick's number 3, that book, seriously, like a raw one, you were spending $800 on at one point.
What?
You'd see them over $1,000 when they were graded. They've kind of hovered in that 9.6 range.
Sure.
For about, I recently sold one for about $400.
Okay.
A book that I bought brand new for $2.99.
Right.
You're
netting a profit there.
Oh, big profit.
Yeah.
Big profit. So this Cindy Moon feels like it could be not like that, but more like Spider-Gwen's first appearance.
Sure.
Which jumped up well over $100,
right?
And it stayed over there.
Yeah.
You can't really find that book, Edge of the Spider-Verse issue 2. You can't find that book for under $100.
Okay.
She is a fan favorite. The movie was excellent, so
Yes.
it kept her star pretty high.
Okay.
And that's another one. If I can find it for the right price, I buy it all day.
So do you think does it depend on the success of a movie? Does it drive the price one way or the other?
Anymore, yes. And you'll get this from a lot of comic fans who hate that. There's a few people I follow online that when they hear a kernel of news, they'll throw up eBay listings and be like, hey, well, let's watch these books. I bet you they get crazy. And some guys I follow on Instagram get super irritated. They're like, why are you guys buying this book for all this money? You didn't even care about this character yesterday. True. But if you like the character, but you got a couple issues, man, let's prey on these guys who want to buy it because of the hype. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't either.
And my kind of message to you guys who buy these things on hype, you might as well just wait. You might as well just wait because they come down. They always come down.
Right. It's gravity, baby.
Hundreds of people buy right off the announcement, and there are hundreds of people making good money off of these guys. Guys who you're going to spend, I'm going to spend $100 on this character today man, I hope I can get $10 for it in a couple weeks. And I see it happen all the time. And I am all for buying and flipping.
Sure.
There is a greed associated with it that I don't care for. I have left some copies of things on the shelf because I have felt guilty and been like, okay, other people need to buy this book. And that helps nobody. It doesn't help me.
No, but it eases your conscience a bit.
I'll buy 4 and I'll leave 2.
Fair enough.
And it's like, I struggle with it a bit.
Yeah.
But, I got to make my money too.
Yeah, of
I
course,
gotta make my
man.
money too.
Of course, man.
To this amazing Spider-Man number 4, there's also a 1 in 10 variant done by Humberto Ramos. And this book, raw, settles between $80 and $100.
What?
Because this kind of relaunch of Spider-Man, I keep saying Volume 3.
Right.
So this was the third time that it had been
restarted.
Renumbered.
Yes.
Which is annoying.
Yeah.
And so usually by issue 4, a lot of times issue 4 in the start of a series is always what we consider a low print run.
Okay.
Because people have bought 1, they're like, okay, this is interesting. They've bought 2, I don't know if I really want to read this. They don't like issue 3, they drop off by issue 4. Happens all the time.
Okay.
So you'll see issues 3, 4, and 5 tend to be lower prints. So just, where you might sell, 50,000 in number 1, you might be in the 15,000 by issue 4.
Dang.
Overall.
Yeah.
So
that's drastic.
So this variant for Humberto Ramos was a 1 in 10. So you had to order 10 copies of issue 4 just to qualify to get one copy of the variant. The variant sits between $80 and $100 right now. If I found one for $60, I'd buy it all day.
Cool.
Buy it all day.
Yeah.
The one I bought in store, so I didn't break the bank. But I wish I would have been on the hunt for more. It's a good flipping book.
Sure.
It's a good spec book. There's another Spider-Man book, Web of Spider-Man, number 70. We were talking about this book very recently because it's the first appearance of Spider-Hulk.
Oh, okay.
And it sounds like we might be getting that character again in comics soon, or it would be a fun one to see into the Spider-Verse.
Sure, yeah.
I just bought a couple the other day for $5. There was a rumor that this character is going to be showing up in comics again, and now they're going from anywhere from $10 to $20.
Wow.
Literally in the span of a couple weeks. I expect the book to come back down and kind of hover at the $10 mark.
Yeah, totally.
But like I said, I just bought some for $5.
Right.
So it's one to take a look at, and if you see it, like this book will be in the dollar bins. This book will be in the dollar bins, and you can hunt and flip for triple, quadruple, times your money if you're paying attention. Where a lot of good diggers make their money is they will go to any comic book store they find, and they'll spend hours going through back issues.
Oh, just the
I'm sure you do something similar with vinyl records.
Yes, I do.
And I'm sure you found some gems.
I have.
Oh my gosh! This Web of Spider-Man was supposed to be in the W's, and it was in Amazing Spider-Man.
Those are always the best finds.
It's the best find. It's the best find. The one that you're like, oh, this is a $1 book, and I love it. Giving it to the guy at the counter, and him knowing,
Yep.
They got one on me.
Yep.
They got one on me.
They have to give it to you.
So I think that would be a good one to spec.
Sure.
Right now, they honestly bounce between $5 and $25.
Yeah.
It's quite the swing right now.
Okay.
But there are people I have seen sell them. They were selling them 2 weeks ago for $5, and now they're selling them for $20.
Wow.
It happens.
Okay.
And it's just because, again, could be in this movie, might be in comics again.
Right.
Staying with Into the Spider-Verse, Part 2, Amazing Spider-Man 361. This book, I literally just bought 5 copies the other day because it's the first appearance of Spider-Man 2099.
Oh.
We saw him show up on the tail credit scene of Into the Spider-Verse.
That's right.
So, what I'm talking, a lot of the stuff I'm talking about today, guys, is things that are going to play soon.
Sure.
And maybe it's something that you
you're just trying to give them a heads up.
Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Sure.
And, if you guys can make a little bit of money, cool. If you're trying to sell Roman one for cheap, let me know. I'm not going to buy.
Or you just want to have this book.
Yes.
Like you're a fan of this character and you don't know what their first appearance is.
Yes.
Like, I just want that.
Hey, guys, if you haven't spent the money, if you haven't gone out there to get it while the getting's good.
Sure.
Because they're going to blow up.
Oh, definitely.
They're going to blow up.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it could blow up from a $5 book to a $15 book.
Which is still, it's profit, baby.
Yeah. Or you're Nick's number 3 and you're a $20 book and now you're a $200 book.
Right.
So, it is nice to have, and it's not, I've had some rainy days where it's like, oh man, I have to sell this comic book.
Yeah.
Good thing I have 8.
Right, yeah, totally.
And, you make some quick cash. So, first appearance of Spider-Man 2099 in Amazing Spider-Man 361. It's in a really nice foil cover.
Oh, man, I remember those from the 90s, baby.
Yeah, and it's a great book, inexpensive right now. One that kind of holds its value that at $60, I buy it all day, every day. But you don't always find it at 60.
Yeah.
Is Uncanny X-Men number 266. Number 266 is the first appearance of Gambit.
Yeah, that's right.
There is a cameo that predates in a New Mutants book.
Right.
But that one's a $15, $20 book.
Right, because it's not Gambit per se.
Yeah,
right?
you just see him
design,
on the page.
right?
Yeah, you just see him on the page. He's not like throwing cards or anything.
Yeah.
But Uncanny X-Men 266, on the low end, you can get for $60.
Sure.
And like I said, I would pay that all day.
Okay.
But they go up and over 100 to 125
Jeez.
all the time. So we've yet to see Gambit done well on film. And with Marvel, getting ready to, flex their X-Men muscles.
Right.
Probably by the end of next year.
Sure.
I can even see them making some...
subtle nods here and
in
there.
these Avengers movies coming up, and these Phase 4 films coming up.
Definitely.
Either X-Men and Fantastic Four. I actually didn't bring up too many Fantastic Four ones today in my notes, so I don't have as many there. But
we'll probably get to that on a different show, because I'm sure that's going to be huge.
These are the books that I've been buying recently.
Yeah.
So 266, if you can get one for $60 and it's, in a shape that you think is nice, totally buy it. But they kind of hover at 80. They kind of start there.
Dang.
But you get lucky sometimes. I got lucky very much. I've got 5 copies that came in over the last 2 weeks. I'm happy with the money I spent on these books.
Okay, cool,
and
man.
I really think that it's going to be, they've canned the Channing Tatum talk.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what was the final say on that? Because it's been years since he was announced.
They finally said after the acquisition, like a few months after the acquisition of the Fox properties, they said that they're canceling that
good.
Series.
Because, they weren't making any progress on it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And I can't imagine... I don't think there's a world in which Channing Tatum was going to be a good Gambit.
No, I don't see that.
I think the guy's a fine comedic actor.
Sure, he's good.
But
he's not. He doesn't look like Gambit. Gambit is slim, tall. He's none of those things.
No,
he's muscular, ginormous, muscular. But he doesn't look like Gambit.
I want the accent.
Yeah,
I'll take a Southern accent, but I want an accent for the character.
Find a Creole actor. Give him some work.
Yeah. Find yourself a Creole street merchant, out there peddling his wares on Bourbon Street. So I think that's a book more on the higher end right now. And, again, $60 to $80, that's not terrible.
No.
But I think that there's some good flip value. But I don't know where the ceiling is for a book like that.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine ever spending $200 on a Gambit book. However, when we're 60... It may be a different thing altogether.
Well, so say X-Men gets announced, then Gambit's in the cast. Mm-hmm. Where do you see the book going? Book.
Okay, so I think the book does peak around $200.
Oh.
And then I do think it comes down, but it's one of those books that it'll be a good quick flip. Sure. So the ones that I bought recently, if they make a Gambit announcement in February, I'm going to sell them then. Right at the heat.
Makes sense.
I'll keep a couple for myself, but right at the heat, that's one that I want to move on. Same thing that goes with villains.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men number 221 from 1987 is the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. And when we got like a glimpse of Nathaniel Essex from, what was that, First Class?
I believe it was.
Part 2?
Yeah.
Or Days of Future Past?
Yeah, because Because they break into the Weapon X lab.
Yeah, it might have been X-Men Apocalypse.
Was it that? I'm pretty sure. Okay.
I can't remember when they brought it.
It was one of those.
Anyway, the kind of credit scene is like them collecting this like company collecting DNA, and it says like Essex
Labs or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And Nathaniel Essex is Mr. Sinister. This book went from a $20 book to an $100 book overnight, and
just because of that stinger.
Just that.
Oh,
like, okay, they're gonna do Sinister. They're gonna do Sinister. So right now it hovers between $15 and $25. I pay $20 all the time for this book.
Yeah.
It's a cool book, cool cover with Havoc on the cover, and it's something that if just the name Essex
is getting that kind of heat,
blew up the book,
it
will when we get a confirmation on a cool villain, actually, him being in it. I think it pushes it back up to that $80 to $100 range pretty quickly.
Real quick on a sinister note, I don't think these folks know about Ultimate Mr. Sinister. Isn't he like a gangster?
Yeah, he was kind of like a choloed Mexican, and he had like Sinister in Old English on his arm.
Senor Sinister?
Yeah, he's Mr. Sinister, yes. And he was not nearly as cool of a character.
Right.
But the idea of the character was interesting, that like he was hearing voices.
Right,
and it's actually Apocalypse talking to him.
Yeah.
And like making him like kill certain mutants to help them change. It was almost like Red Dragon, but like with Mr. Sinister. And did it not work?
Oh, I remember seeing the bandana, like, that's Mr. Sinister?
Yeah, he had like a beanie on, and
that's
a wife beater,
and
a gun. Like, I don't know. It just wasn't, they weren't really doing it.
So how's that book doing?
Ultimate X-Men's been done for quite some time.
Doesn't have any heat to it, huh?
No. The first 6 issues of that book were hot for a while.
Oh, okay.
Like issue 1, issue 2, because they were just, nobody really bought it.
Sure.
And then it ended up being pretty good. Like, the Ultimate X-Men run, as a whole, I'd give it a strong, like, C+, B-.
Sure. Worth a read.
Yeah. And it was, it was fine. It was cool to get these kind of revamped characters, through the different eyes of people, which then, when it doesn't go as well, it actually drives up the original X-Men prices.
Oh, it does.
Because it makes like, I yearn for this. So, those other books rise in price.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And even when they say, hey, we're going to be revamping a character.
Right.
The original first appearance will
it's going to go up. Oh, wow. Okay.
So those are 2 kind of good X-Men books right now that I think have some good heat to them. But I think Money in the Bank.
Yes.
You're like, I want a spec book, but I don't want to spend $20. I think X-Men number 4 from 1990. Oh my God, that must have been 92. From 1992, Jim Lee, Chris Claremont, first appearance of Omega Red.
Yes.
X-Men number 4.
Yep.
I have never paid more than $8 for this book.
Yeah.
And when they decide to do this character, Omega Red's a great X-Men villain, visually, just like a cool looking character.
Oh, big time.
Again, designed by Jim Lee.
Yep.
And with the current temperatures of Russian American, politics, it would be kind of a cool Russian villain for us to fight. I've got the weird itch tingling in my bones that we might get a reference to him in the Black Widow movie.
Ugh.
Maybe we don't get Omega Red, but maybe we get Arcady before he's like experimenting.
Sure, or they just say, they mention carbonadium.
Yeah, carbonadium, which is the Russian janky version of adamantium. It's like radioactive. Makes for a very cool fight with Wolverine because he has these tentacles. And the tentacles are slightly radioactive, so when Wolverine gets stabbed by them, he doesn't heal from them right away.
Yeah, it takes a minute.
Yeah, it's hard for him, so it would be a great folly for later down the road. Could create some good stuff, and it's a cheap book.
Right.
It's a dirt cheap book.
It's a beautiful cover.
It's beautiful. And, the cover is Gambit, Rogue, Wolverine, and you just kind of see the tentacle.
Yeah.
And it's a cheap book. Like I said, I've never paid more than $8 for the book, and at this point, I'm not going to.
Sure.
And I've bought a ton of them.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm hoping, because even if this book goes from an $8 book to a $20 book,
it's still amazing.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just, okay, cool. Let me make a couple $100.
Sure.
Boom, I'm fine with it.
Right.
And then to even get them graded would be if you've got a higher grade book.
Yeah.
I've got 8 issues that came in the last week. I'm fine.
Did you post it on your Instagram?
I've posted some. I haven't posted the latest batch. I got 3 in yesterday, actually.
Right.
So I'll post those pretty soon.
Is that your mail call?
Yeah. I've been doing I'm not supposed to be buying all these comics, guys, but I keep getting some deals.
I'm saying.
I've got Web of Spider-Man 70s that came in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Amazing. Like, these are the ones that I'm buying right now.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to share the love.
Sure.
I've built my stockpile. Now you guys should build yours.
See, yes.
You know, and I'm not trying to break the bank. I'm really not.
Yeah, that's what you're doing here. It's practical books at the moment.
Yes.
That could possibly get some heat.
Yeah.
Like Omega Red, I might even buy a couple of these myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a collector because I can see 2-3 years from now, you're going to do an Omega Red.
Yes.
He's such a cool villain.
Yes, it's going to happen, and I think that there's tons of X-Men related stuff that we should be buying as a whole. Because on the flip side of a movie doing really well, when Dark Phoenix was announced, Uncanny X-Men 101, that book always has heat to it. It's the first appearance of the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But it doubled, sometimes tripled in heat.
Wow.
Now they've settled at about 150.
Not
It's
bad.
still more than I want to spend for one, but I need to buy more of those before Marvel does it right. So if I can get them for $100, I will buy them all day. I need to buy a couple sooner than later because Marvel is going to redo Phoenix down the road.
And it's going to be amazing.
And it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to be sad that I didn't stock up. I only own one copy of the Phoenix.
Really?
First, and it's my favorite.
That is your favorite
X-Men.
character, yeah.
And it's just hard to spend that kind of money when there's other books that I know are going to get more heat. I don't know. It's weird. I need to buy more of them.
Sure.
I need to buy more of them.
Definitely. Well, going back to what we were talking about earlier, did the Dark Phoenix film, being the trash fire that it was, hurt that book, the Dark Phoenix?
The announcement spiked it, and
Go.
it was pushing them over. And I was like, oh man, I'm not going. It was to the point where I was like, oh, I'm not going to own another copy of this book unless I get lucky, because I wasn't going to spend $300.
Sure. Oh wow. Okay.
And, yeah, it drove it up really well, and like I said, they fell back down to kind of their mean. That 150.
So it went boom, boom.
Yeah. So after the movie came out, it was so bad. So the 150 to 180 range
is kind of
is the lowest you're going to spend. You're still going to spend money if you want a really good copy.
Definitely.
But the crappy copies were going for more than I wanted to spend.
Wow.
So guys, if you're thinking about if there's some weird X-Men characters, I've got a couple here for you that I think that you can look
Keep
into.
your eyes out.
I think that the Brood first appearance from Uncanny X-Men number 155, which is an older book.
Yeah.
But it's in that $5 to $10 range.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
And it helps us get into space.
Yes.
And I think that Marvel wants to get to space more often than not.
Big time.
And the Brood are a character that we don't even need to happen for the X-Men. It could be something that the Guardians
the big
come
time.
across.
Sure.
So and that's a good $5 to $10 book right now. But it's older, so it's not like it doesn't have a lot of heat to it. But I think it could.
Oh yeah.
The same thing can be said about the Phalanx from 1994 in Uncanny X-Men 305.
Right.
That book's about a $5, $8 book right now. But again, it puts us in space, creates new villains for the X-Men. Something that we haven't seen at all, and something that I think Marvel and Disney would take the plunge on.
Sure.
One that's kind of a mid-range buy would be Uncanny X-Men 107, which is 6 issues after the first appearance of the Phoenix, and it introduces the Imperial Guard, which, I mean, I know you're with me with X-Men, Starjammers, and Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
If I can get that in a movie, it'll be like your dad when he was like, I never thought I'd get to see an Avengers movie.
Sure.
I personally don't think I'll ever get to see the X-Men versus the Imperial.
Right, Gladiator.
Just
Lilandra.
So many of these, basically the guards of the Shi'ar Empire of Emperor Dekan.
Yeah.
And they're this very cool team
and
that mirror the X-Men to an extent.
But they're just more powerful.
They
lay down the smack down on the X-Men.
They have this amazing fight
on
what they call the blue area of the moon, where there's still oxygen.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful fight in comics. But their first appearance is in Uncanny 107 from 1977, and that book has got good value to it. You can get them as cheap as $30, as expensive as $60 for raw copies.
Sure.
And then obviously graded ones will always go for more.
Of course.
But $30 to $60, I'd spend $40 all day on Imperial Guard first appearances.
Same with Starjammers.
Same thing with Starjammers.
Was that the same first appearance too?
They don't have the same first appearance. Their first appearance is I believe a little bit later in the series. And if I remember correctly, it's in issue 104, and it actually might be in 107.
Good, yeah.
And so
it's in that general
if
area.
it is in the 107, I'm sorry guys, I'd have to do more research. You get 2 first appearances for the price of 1,
and that would be insane.
And that's massive. And especially for the spoilers, kids, Starjammers, their leader, his name is Corsair. Well, Corsair is a human, and his name is Christopher Summers. And if you don't understand what that means, look into it. It's
that's kind of cool.
It's kind of interesting.
If you think about it, he's kind of got Star-Lord's origin, too.
Dude, he totally has Star-Lord's origin. Oh my god, yeah. If he was just like an old man Star-Lord, like, I'd be really into that.
I'd be cool with
I'd
that,
be
too.
really into that. But the whole space pirate dad thing
It's
would be awesome.
It's pretty cool.
And again, you could have the Guardians have dealings with the Starjammers.
Why not?
Like, there's a very cool way to connect a lot of these characters.
Who's your favorite Starjammer?
Honestly, it's Corsair.
Okay.
Who's yours, Eric?
Chode.
Chode, yep. Yep, CH''OD. The Chode man himself. Yeah, it's, they knew what they were doing. Starjammers. Star jamming. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, kids, that's our show for today. On that note, I just thought it would be kind of neat to share some spec talk with you.
Yeah.
And guys, I'm not the best at this at all. I have a lot of hits. I have a lot of misses. I have a lot of.
I would say you're about 80-20.
It's
seriously, you managed to. The way I've seen you do this, you're pretty spot on, man. Seriously,
and I get links from different people, other people making.
You do
specs.
research. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it's a fun part of the hobby.
Yeah,
and like I said, if I can leave you with any advice today, don't jump on the thing that gets announced. Be the person that's figuring out what's going to be announced, and you'll make some good money. Okay. If you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button. Leave us a like. Leave us a comment. I would love to hear what spec books you guys are looking at right now. Which ones should I be looking for? Because hey, I'm here to make a little bit of money, to have a little fun, and I think one thing, we all enjoy the hunt.
Yes.
So
yes.
Leave us a comment, subscribe, let us know what you're doing. Mr. Icarus, what did you learn today?
A lot.
Yeah.
I might be getting into spec books now.
I think you would be great at it because I think you enjoy the hunt.
I do.
But you don't have any real attachment to keeping the comic.
Sure.
Because you're more than happy to have the trade that you can beat up and read numerous times.
Yeah.
I learned that just in my research today that I need to get even better at it because I'm be buying a new house soon, kids, and I'm not going to have all this money that I've been spec buying for a while.
Yeah, we're building a studio too, kids.
I need to make as much money as I can to make this podcast better, to make my wallet a little fatter. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Reach out to us on Instagram at REC Podcast. You can talk to me personally there at Roman REC Podcast. You can talk to Eric in the streets. You can find him in the sheets. You can find him where you need to. Okay? You pop yellow smoke, he'll find you.
I'll be there, baby.
Thank you so much for listening. I have been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Eric Icarus.
And we will catch you next time.